Have you ever thought about what it would be like to have a real partner when you're developing software? I'm not talking about just another tool, but a true co-pilot, Something that handles all the gritty details so you can focus on the big picture. Well, that's the incredible promise of AI right now. So let's dive in and see how this partnership is completely changing the game. And this right here, this really gets to the heart of it. These large language models, LLMs, they're absolutely brilliant at generating the how, the complex, thorny code that actually makes a system work. But the real magic, the real value comes from you, the human developer, defining the what, the vision, the structure, the architecture that holds the whole thing together. And let's be real, when you first start playing with an LLM, it is pure magic. You type in a super simple prompt, something like build me a user service, and poof, seconds later, a whole block of code just appears. It works, it's complicated, and it really feels like you've just unlocked some kind of superpower. And you knew there was a but coming, right? That seemingly perfect code that was just generated in a flash? Well, it's often packed with deep-seated problems, hidden dangers that you just can't see on the surface. Sure, it works, but it might just be built on a foundation of sand. So how can these things go wrong? Well, a few key ways. They can hallucinate and just make up APIs that don't exist, or their code can slowly drift away from what you actually wanted. But the trickiest problem is something called leaky abstractions. This is when the AI mashes everything together and your low-level database logic starts bleeding into your high-level business rules. Before you know it, the whole thing is a tangled nightmare to maintain. So why do we even care about this messy, poorly architected code? Well, it all comes down to performance. And performance has a direct impact on business. Take this number, 1%. That is the percentage of sales Amazon lost for every 100 milliseconds of extra loading time. A tiny, tiny delay, often the result of inefficient code, can literally cost millions. And that's the whole point, isn't it? Badly architected code, the kind an unguided AI loves to create, has real, tangible costs. And it's not just Amazon. Google saw that just a half-second delay in their search results caused a big drop in traffic and ad revenue. So performance isn't just some nice-to-have feature. It's absolutely critical to the business. So what's the fix? Well, the solution isn't about writing more code. It's about better architecture. It's time to rediscover some of these timeless software principles that can help us guide this incredible new technology. The first pillar of wisdom we need is abstraction. The best way to think about it is as the art of focusing on the what instead of the how. It's basically a filter that hides all the messy complexity. You don't need to know how a car engine works to drive, right? You just need a steering wheel and pedals. That is a perfect abstraction. This is such a great analogy. An electrical outlet is a stable boundary. It gives you a super simple, consistent way to get power. You can plug in a toaster or a TV, and you don't care one bit if that electricity is coming from a solar panel or nuclear power plant. In software, creating those same kinds of boundaries gives you the freedom to change the guts of your system without breaking everything that depends on it. Now, this idea of stable boundaries leads us right to our second pillar, scalability. See, in the old days, to handle more users, you just make one machine bigger and more powerful. That's called scaling up. Today, we scale out. We just add more machines and spread the work across them. This approach gives you almost infinite room to grow and makes your entire system way more resilient. Our third pillar is performance. And this is where we hit a really critical flaw in how LLMs think. An LLM's number one goal is to give you code that is functionally correct. It wants to give you the right answer. But it has zero concept of speed or efficiency. It will happily write code that works perfectly for one person, but completely falls over under the load of 1,000 users. So how do you fight that built-in bias? With observability, because you absolutely cannot fix what you cannot see. These three pillars here, logs, metrics, and traces. They give you the X-ray vision you need to find those performance bottlenecks. Logs tell you what happened. Metrics are like the system's vital signs, telling you how it's feeling. And traces show you the exact path a single request took, highlighting every single delay along the way. Okay, so we've got the wisdom, we've got the principles. Now for the fun part, actually applying it. It's time to go from being a passive user of this tool to being an active architect who guides the machine. And this right here, this is the big aha moment. Just look at the difference. On the left, a vague prompt. That's going to get you that tangled mess we talked about. But on the right, the architectural prompt. It's a series of precise, deliberate instructions. You're not just asking for a service, you're telling the LLM how to build the pieces of a well-designed architecture, one step at a time. You define those boundaries, the interfaces, first. And what do you get from that simple shift in prompting? Oh, just about everything. Your logic is decoupled, which means you can switch out your database or your payment provider without having to rewrite your entire service. Your code is easy to test, and it's way more resilient to failure. This isn't just slightly better code. It's a fundamentally better, more robust system. So, what does this all mean for you, the developer? It means your expertise, your hard-won architectural wisdom, it's not being replaced. In fact, it's becoming more valuable than it has ever been. I absolutely love this quote. It just perfectly captures this new partnership. You are the architect, you design the blueprint, you define the boundaries, you set the seams. And then you let the AI act as this incredibly fast and efficient builder, weaving the fabric of the actual code according to your grand design. And this really is the core shift in our value as developers. It's not just about how many lines of code you can churn out anymore. It's about the high-level, strategic thinking of design. Your ability to think in terms of architecture, scalability, and performance is the skill that this new technology will amplify like never before. So in the end, the LLM is an incredible co-pilot, and it's ready to do all the heavy lifting of implementation. The only question left is, are you ready to step up and be the architect?